Your son of my beach.
There we go.
See, I had to say the magic words, son of my
This,
beach.
the stream is in two conditions. It can be live and it can be not live. Many times when other people's streams were live, our stream was not live. That's just the way we do it here.
Is that
And
how
a
it works?
good freaky fractious Friday to you, New York Vinny.
And a good Freaky Fractious Friday to you too, Michael Knight, down here in Pasadena, California.
It's hot down here. We've had 90 degrees now for 4 or 5 days. We got another week of it to come.
Yeah,
And 90s is an eye opener. When it's 82, that's a warm day. 75 can be a pleasant day, but when you get to 92, you got a hot day, and it sort of controls how you go about your business that day. If you're going out to get cat food like I am later today, because if I don't, the cats will eat us.
Yeah, it's probably and you know what? There's many cats I wouldn't believe it from. Your cats I would believe it from.
Trust me, the Monkey Brothers, Tomas and Puna, the two tuxedo cats who decided to live here, will take matters into their own paws if they don't get what they want. And they are among the most persuasive animals on the planet. And another thing I can say is that they're big cats. And
you have noticed.
I'm in the poop dispersal department, and I can tell you that they can make a statement that other cats are known for their petite offerings, not these boys. They're not the least bit ashamed to fill a cat box.
Well, Michael, that's a lot of information I don't need to know. But
I just want you to know that I'm in charge of poop.
I appreciate you letting us know that, though. Speaking about stacks and tubs of shit, did you watch that? Did you watch our latest? Our latest hours of bullshit from the president last night.
I was curious as to what he was going to say and how he was going to say it, and I was not disappointed. He read it. His staff must have said, "Mr. President, you like to go off the cuff. You love to go off script. Don't do it tonight. Just read it." And when he has to read something, he gets into a sing-song, boring delivery, and he was at his worst last night for that. The content was shit. The basic premise was, I'm going to lie to you about how we elect people in this country. I'm going to lie to you about how we do it. I'm going to lie to you about how we're going to fix it. I'm going to lie to you about what's wrong with it. I'm going to lie to you about who is responsible. And I was watching MS Now, where they took 10 minutes off the top of the speech and then cut in to say, now we're going to backtrack and check the facts on what he said so far. And I think that's a way to proceed with Donald Trump, who was pissed off that the networks didn't carry his message. The conclusion of the television industry of this country was that it was not essential content. It was not a State of the Union message or a vital message to the people from the leader. It was an invention. It was a concoction. It was a collection of half-truths, lies, and black lies, and damn lies.
Well, it was the kickoff of his fraudulent midterms campaign.
And what does he expect to come from this? Everyone came to the same conclusion that it was a concoction, and he didn't seem interested in it himself. He didn't seem taken by the gravity of his accusations and his assertions and his conclusions. China is our enemy, apparently. This happened
this week, yes.
Happened this week.
Too bad they don't have a Straits of Yin Yang to bomb or else he'd probably be over there doing that.
They don't have an important strait at the moment. But the oil that would go to China is not going through the Strait of Hormuz. If a shipment of oil was going to China from Iran, that's the way it would go. But it can't go that way because nothing can go that way.
Well, yeah, he's. I mean, the one thing he has done is he's locked up the world's economy. And caused more pain for people who can't afford any more pain.
Unnecessary suffering.
Say again, Michael.
Unnecessary suffering.
Yeah, he's just and it's evident that he doesn't care.
Can't be bothered.
He'll get what he wants somehow, some way. He'll lie, he'll cheat, he'll steal, he'll do whatever he can. And the good Lord, and the 30. Well, I keep saying 30. I mean, hopefully it's like 25% of people who still look at him and say he's a fine president.
An impressive man.
I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get how you can look. If it's one thing, if you don't like left wing, you don't like centrist, you don't like progressive. That's one thing. But this guy, and this is a conversation I had with a friend of mine years ago when this clown first announced that he was going to run for president. My friend surprisingly said, "Oh, I think he's going to fix this country." Well, he was right. He has fixed this country.
You're in a fix now.
Yeah, we're in a fix like we haven't been since the Great Depression.
A fix like no one thought could be fixed in this way.
And his cronies are getting nothing but richer by the day, which pisses me off even more.
What about his little followers, like the guy who was just testifying and couldn't bring himself to tell the truth about the 2020 election?
Yeah, not Blanche, but the other guy who he wants to be the head of
Director of National Intelligence.
Yeah. Well, see, the first thing you have to do to be Director of National Intelligence is be intelligent. Well, and I didn't hear anything come out of that guy's mouth that was intelligent.
No.
You're sitting there, and I forget if it was Ossoff or one of the senators had a great. Listen, this is a job interview, pal.
Yeah.
You're interviewing to get this job. Now, the only thing that you look at, you say, well, he already knows he's got the job. He knows that these senators and these Congress people, all of this mix that's in that building, is still afraid enough of Trump and his power that they're not going to do anything. They're going to approve him anyway. And I guess he's not wrong. He goes in there knowing that the president is going to put a full court press on him, on these people to approve this guy. And they have the numbers. So there's not much you can do but sit back and hope that he gets a better offer somewhere. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to work for Trump.
We have to ask Susan Collins. She keeps coming to the same conclusion. She says she's going to be different. She says she's going to change. She says she's going to represent the people of Maine. When it comes down to it, it's always Donald Trump.
Windy ass bag of shit. That one. That's what she is. That's all she is. A windy ass bag of shit. I'd hate to sit next to her on a bus. I'd hate to be in the same room with her.
That would be unpleasant.
She's the worst kind of liar because she's a liar that looks like your grandmother. And you know what happens to you later in life when you find out that your grandparents lied to you?
It's not good.
It's one thing when your parents lied to you. You expect that. But your grandparents and your uncles and your aunts are always the place you go where you figure that they're going to tell you the square deal. And when you find out that your grandparents lied to you, it leaves an emotional scar. And
That's
she is
bothersome.
the biggest of the liars. She's a smelly, raggy liar. And I have to laugh because, all these people want to jump on AOC for stuff that she says. But you know what? AOC tells the truth
That's why they don't like it.
in many cases. I'm not
That's
going to
why
say
it's
she
that's,
always tells the truth,
that's
but in
why it's
many
so
cases,
it's bothersome because it's the truth and it's harsh.
but the truth works against these people. They can't have the truth
They can't have
because,
it at all, not even a little
because
bit
the
of it.
truth, the truth goes against their agenda. The truth, um, I'd have more respect for Susan Collins if she said, I just always wanted to bang this guy, so I approve everything he says.
It's as simple as that.
I'd have, I have respect for her, much more respect for her. Some respect for her. I don't have any respect for her now, or any of these idiots that follow along in lockstep to a guy that wants to ruin this country. They all should be put on trial. All of them are guilty of enabling this guy. But they're
Who,
socking it
who,
away while they can. I'm sure they're all of their bank accounts are getting big and fat. And who is it? Who is it resting on? It's on the average person who goes to the store and tries to
pays
buy.
pays the
Uh,
freight?
yeah, and tries to buy and will be paying for it for many, 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 many years. But they work under the principle the Republicans do of, well, if they can afford $500 to go to a World Cup game, it mustn't be hurting that much. If they can afford $50 to park your car, you mustn't be hurting that much. And I don't know, are they wrong?
Well, they're wrong, and that they don't care about the what was once the simplest direct element of government, and that's the economy. Stupid, and the economy is upside down. In California, we're not going to get accustomed to paying $5.50 for gas, and maybe the same price for eggs and anything else that comes by truck to Trader Joe's and Pavilions and Safeway and Ralph's. All those destinations are kept in business by a big truck that comes and parks in front of their place every day and unloads the next day's groceries, the next day's shipment. And that's the same for auto repair shop when you need a new battery. That price went up because the delivering it is so much more expensive than it was. The price for the shirt I wear and the hat that I've got, that price is going to go up with tariffs and taxes and inflation and just stupidity flowing it. Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about that. He doesn't care. He's got a war going on that costs $2 billion a day, maybe more now that we're actively involved and our troops and our bases are being hit in Qatar. He's not interested in his war. He's bored with it. He's past that. He wants to invent something new to distract you. And he's got to keep something going so he doesn't get hauled in for the Epstein files.
Well,
There's a number of balls he has in the air, and that's why he was disappointed that the networks didn't cover his speech, because he wanted this to be a national distraction. He wanted people to be up in arms. He wanted a reaction that was going to be measurable and a delay tactic for everything else that he's got going. And in that, I think he failed. But he's going to send the ICE agents and the FBI and everybody out to garner what passes for evidence to keep his stupid conclusions in the game, to keep him in the headlines. It's a madhouse, and the people involved, like Pete Hegseth and the FBI, each and every one of them has a individual that's supposed to be running the show, that's more of a monkey than any other than the one you saw yesterday. And he has a cast of these useless, incompetent characters that worry about the testosterone of the army and look like a startled marsupial instead of a human being, that are representative of the worst and the fearful and the gang that couldn't shoot straight. They people every department and every element of governance has a representative just that bad, just that ridiculous, just that absurd, whose loyalty is to Donald Trump, whose fear is that Donald Trump is going to be upset with him for something that he did or did not do, for some lie that he refused to tell or forgot to tell. And as Ossoff asked the director for DNI, aren't you humiliated having to answer these questions to please Donald Trump? Isn't this a humiliating transaction that should be avoided? Can't you just tell the truth? Can't you answer the question? Can't you say what's on your mind? No. The answer is no.
No, the guy's not.
I cannot, and I will not.
They're worse.
They can be made to do anything.
You could strap a bomb to that guy and send him into that room, and he'd willingly go in.
Happy to do it. No extra charge.
Yeah, he'd go in and sit down and open up his jacket and say, "Now approve me or I'll hit the switch." I mean,
prepare for the smithereens.
That somebody hasn't from that
administration. If you don't have a smithereen handy, I'm going to be smithereens in just a moment. You can have some of me.
It is. I don't think you're going to find anybody or anything that is going to make the situation any better. As long as Trump is president, as long as slapdick,
they will never stop until they are stopped. Until they are physically.
As lies and farts is still the president of this country, because that's all that emanates from his body is lies and farts. So, and he certainly is borrowing from a lot of principles of the NSDAP. So,
and the chapter outline for Mein Kampf.
Yeah, well, that's the NSDAP, my friend. That's there. He's go back and look at the stuff that Hitler was preaching in the 30s. It's almost word for word.
Identical.
Almost word for word. That's when you are saying I support President Trump, you might as well be saying I support that philosophy, that political stance. And luckily, we said this a lot in the first term of Trump, that they were so stupid, did so many things that were so bizarre and out of whack that you didn't believe that anybody would trust them to run anything. But this term, it's been different. He learned from the first term. One thing he did is he learned from the first term. He learned how to be more crafty, more sneaky.
Don't ask, just take.
Exactly. And that's exactly what, and the, what I want to know is where's the train, where's the buried train for the Trump administration? Where is the train that has all the art treasures on it, all which was, valuable currency in those days? Where is that train in the Trump administration? It's got to be somewhere. And are they going to let
Mar-a-Lago? It's in Florida.
Are they going to let him keep it? Are they going to let him, when he leaves office, And believe you me, he's got no reason to stay.
except for the cover that it provides him, the legal cover.
Yeah, but I think within the next 2 years, uh, they're going to provide. There's going to be a shift, and he's not going to have that same type of cover. By the time he's ready to leave office, I think, and this is just me, I think that things are going to change because more and more of this stuff is coming out, and when the Epstein stuff really hits, when you really find out what went on there. If that doesn't disgust you, we ought to close the country and let everybody go home.
Go
Go
ahead, go
back
ahead.
to go back to where you came from. Is going to be
Right.
is not going to be an insult. It's going to be a rally cry
This time we really mean it. Go back to where you came from.
because
Go to a
nobody's going
neutral
to want to
area.
be here. When we find out that we're a nation of people who approve pedophilic behavior
At the highest level.
and revel in it as long as we can profit from it in some way somehow.
There's good money in that business. It's underfinanced, but trust me, there's cash in that business, cash and carry.
And when the truth comes out about guys like Graham and McConnell and all of these politicians that hightail their way down to Epstein Island, Republican and Democrat. I'm not even going to say that it's a particular, but it seems to be obviously many more Republicans. I don't know if there's a Democrat that's yet surfaced on these things, but if there is, damn them to hell too. This isn't about party. This is about what's right. And what the excesses of this country and what we have been allowed to run free and do, what they have turned us into. It's um, it's sickening and it's sad. It really is something that I don't know. The more I look at it, the more upset I get.
And to be at war and not really even acknowledge it, to not make any effort to do the right thing to ensure that our troops are not put in harm's way. Our generals and admirals will do anything. They'll say anything. They'll endorse anything. They'll underline any report. They'll order the troops into any awful, indefensible situation. They'll put their ships at sea in harm's way. They'll do any of that with a completely clean conscience because they are too afraid of Trump and what will happen to their uniforms and their company car and their health benefits and their retirement fund and their fond memories of how it was at West Point on their way up to influence and power. But when it comes to actually managing this offensive and doing the right thing for our troops, preparing the men and women that are in harm's way, they couldn't give a shit. They're not involved. They don't care. They are.
No,
Their stance is we protect ourselves more than we protect our troops. Put them in the desert. Put them out there today. I don't give a damn. Just leave me out of it, and I want my bonus. I want my quarterly bonus.
Well, the fish rots from the head down. I mean, you can't expect the generals and the people that run under the generals to have respect for the people under them when they don't have respect for the people above them. Where what
People
they
under
have
them will
is
just
fear
do what they're
or
told.
protectionism.
You do what you're told. You follow orders. I don't want to hear any questions asked or theories floated. I don't want any of that. Just march into the line of fire and hurry up about it.
It's sad, but you know what, Michael? We get what we deserve.
Theoretically, that's true.
You know, we get what we deserve. We had plenty of chances to get out of this
So
guy.
this has been coming, right?
We had plenty of chances to get away from Trump. We had plenty of chances to send this guy packing. And we didn't.
Because remember, under any scrutiny, he's just Donnie from Queens. He's got nothing going for him.
You know what? He's not even Donnie from Queens. The people I know from Queens are a lot better than him. He's not as good as
they would
the
have
people.
to be. They would have to be, wouldn't they?
The people I know, I knew from Queens, especially, you know, I'm gonna say something really stupid here, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The people I knew from Queens growing up lived by a code of honor. You backed up your brother or your sister or what? You backed up your friends, but you also had a code of honor. You had a code of what was right and what was wrong, and you lived by that code. That's the Queens I grew up in. The Queens I grew up in wouldn't have tolerated a Donald Trump.
Drilling here again.
The Queens I grew up in would look at a Donald Trump and say, and that's why he had to get out of there. He had to get into Manhattan because it was the only place that would tolerate it. You know, guy, he wouldn't walk into a deli for lunch and the guys behind the counter go, "Hey, Donnie, what's happening? You having the same today?"
Never.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. He wouldn't have. He couldn't have hung out with us on 83rd Street and 37th Avenue. He couldn't have come down the corner and hung out with us. He couldn't have stood it. He couldn't have stood up to it. He couldn't have driven a tow truck in Queens. He would have got his ass kicked all the time. He couldn't have worked at the record store.
He had no taste.
He had no taste. He'd be playing Montefalcon all day. Well, actually, I shouldn't diss on Montefalcon. Montefalcon made a lot of money in the music business.
But Montefalcon, I like Montefalcon. That's got some poetry to it.
But he would. But he certainly would have got used up by the mob guys. They would have gotten into him for every dime his father had.
He would have been owing the wrong guys.
And I've still heard rumors from years ago that he was involved in those people, and the reason. Well, there were several rumors floating around in New York that he was the guy who made Giuliani's career. He's the guy that was the voice in Giuliani's ear.
The mouthpiece.
No, not the mouthpiece. The voice. He was the voice in Giuliani's ear that was telling him who to look at and what was going on, how the construction trades were working, and he was the guy that did that. I'm actually people that I know from Queens that hung out toward that end of the spectrum. To this day, are surprised that nobody whacked him. But again, he knew the right place to go and hide. So when you try to tell me that he's an honorable person, when you try to tell me that he's a good man, when you try to tell me that he stands up for America, he
There's
doesn't
no
stand. He stands up for himself.
there's no evidence for any of those titles being earned by Donald Trump. He's a cipher. He's a dark, vile creature. He's not human. He's not answerable to the needs and wants of an average human. Someone with a conscience, he doesn't have it. Someone with care for others, he doesn't have it. Someone with self-respect, absolutely not. He hasn't any of those qualities. He's got nothing that he shows on a daily basis in his transactions that is honorable and that you would envy, that you would want to be like, that you would consider as something that you would want to emulate. Nothing like that. Nothing emanates from him that is positive and worthy. He's a vile creature.
All right, and now I want to shift gears here for a second, if we can, because we're certainly you and I have been critical of Trump and the people that work for him, and the people that work with him, and the people that idolize him for a long time. But I came across this story yesterday, and I happened to have passed this house when I was down in San Diego last year, and I think what has happened here is shameful. And again, I'm going to point my finger in this directly at Trump, and that there is a responsibility here on Trump, but also responsibility on the people or the person that perpetrated this crime, and the people who egg somebody on to do these things. Do you know about the Trump house in Escondido?
No.
There's a house in Escondido. It's on a small street, but yet a somewhat trafficked street. And this guy who owns this house is a Trump fan, and was not afraid to show it. Put banners up on his house and signs. It wasn't enough for this guy to put a bumper sticker on his car or this. He was so taken by the whole Trump thing, the cult, that he became a full-blown cult member in a place where cults go to live. I mean, there's always something coming out of that area of California.
We always have room in Southern California for another cult.
And it's the home of it. It's where it all begins. Anyway, so this guy draped his house on Mission Avenue with Trump banners, posters, signs, and during rush hour, he would actually go out in his yard, much unlike other people that do this, and wave at people and talk to people and engage with people. And in not a mean way, he believed what he believed, and he was willing to talk to people about it.
What else is he willing to do?
Well, most people would drive by. Many people would shout, "Fuck you," and the usual stuff that you would get. Hey, he would, according to reports, wave at him, or he wouldn't answer him with the finger or anything like that. 69 years old, the guy was. Army veteran. He did volunteer work in town in Escondido, cooking at a senior center. The other day, when he was standing in his yard, somebody decided that they were going to take him on. So they went up to his yard where he would talk to people, and I guess either hopped the fence or came into the yard, knocked the guy down, and stomped him to death.
Wow. Bold.
With their feet. Knocked the guy at 69 years old.
No witnesses?
Probably not going to be much of a match. And by the time neighbors that saw this came running over there, the guy's brains were splattered all over his lawn. And I don't know exactly what caused this guy to do this. I've seen other places like this. There's a guy here that has a Trump house like that on the route that I take to road test the cars. He's got a big Trump signs on his business. We've talked about this before. I'm not a big person for putting Trump signs or any signs on your business.
This is out Carnation Way.
No, that's up in Concrete. So this guy who I guess they arrested, and he's now in custody, and this guy is dead. Now, I don't like Trump. You know that. We know that. You don't like him. Most people we know don't like him. We know a few that do.
Most people within our borders don't like him.
But I got to feel bad for this guy and his family. He was putting out there what he believed in. Whether I agree with it or don't agree with it, he's still got the right to do it. And he's got the right to say it. Just like when burning flags was popular years ago, and what was our famous line was, you know what, I don't agree with you that you're burning the flag, but I'll defend your right to do it. And I just think that I look at this and I say to myself, I get upset and pissed off on so many levels. The number one level is that somebody could garner up enough hate in them to see somebody with signs on their house, admittedly overdone,
Slightly
but still
over the
signs
moon
on their
for
house,
Trump.
and it would drive them to kill somebody, to take a human life. I also, it strikes me from a fact of how many of the services that this person who killed this guy probably wasn't able to avail himself of, or couldn't get to, or whatever, because we decided to cut back on mental health services. We decided to cut back on people. So did Trump and his bastards like Stephen Miller and Elon Musk have a hand in this guy's death? Did they have a piece in causing this guy's death?
They were happy to help out any way they could.
One of their most ardent supporters. And they were able to do something to affect this guy's death. To make sure that almost didn't happen. So I feel horrible for this guy and his family. I mean, he doesn't feel anything anymore, but I feel horrible for his family. I feel horrible for the situation that we find ourselves in, where people feel, whether they're a little doozy pots or a lot, that they feel like they have to kill somebody, that they
Which
have
is,
to resort to violence, that they can't just go up to somebody and say, I don't agree with you.
well, that's part of the element of conducting ourselves in public that is being shown to us by ICE agents,
Well,
undertrained, do their business on the sidewalk without announcement, kill people in the street without fear of prosecution, are ordered into situations that no one would want for themselves, and they do it gladly. These are disturbed people who should not be armed and doing anything on the streets in terms of police enforcement. And so the value of human life is lessened and cheapened, so that someone who's doozy pots would come to the conclusion that the best way to settle this matter, Vinnie, is to go to the guy's yard and kick him to death. That's
now again, this guy invited some of this on himself.
Sure
He would go on, social media and taunt people, and I'm not saying that this guy was innocent. He was just standing in his yard, look at my house. I mean, he was definitely, he was pushing buttons that would cause somebody who had a little bit of illness to maybe get a lot of illness going on in their heads. So I guess bottom line for me is that we have to, we can't take that same road, man. We can't do what the President Weisenfarts, President Slapdick has done, which is to stand up in front of crowds and say, shoot him, lock him up, beat him up, kick his ass. All of that kind of political violence that we laugh about. Oh, Trump is such a man because he said that. Well, here's your end result. Here's your result on the lowest possible level, on down the block from you, on the guy that flies the Trump flag.
What happened to him, I wonder? Whatever happened to that guy?
The guy that beat him, I'm looking.
Young white male.
May 20th, Thomas Butler, 32-year-old veteran of the Navy. By the way, this guy that owned the house was a veteran of the Army. This guy had been in the neighborhood. He was spotted with anti-Trump signs. He was arrested. He's pleaded not guilty to initial charge of attempted murder, which will be, I'm sure, increased to murder. Guy has a history of mental problems.
I believe it.
And I guess they had a hearing in June. And the guy who committed allegedly committed the crime would not leave his cell. So they're trying to determine whether he is competent to stand trial.
Well, if he likes his cell, that can be arranged. He'll spend some more time there. It's fascinating how people with mental problems that are similar to one another have a way of finding each other, have a way of connecting,
of crossing paths. Yeah. They have a way of seeking out. And the interesting thing about this guy that got killed is when the ICE stuff started going down in Southern California, the guy with the Trump stuff put a Mexican flag in his yard, saying that I'm not sure that I like the way immigration is coming in and disrupting things.
Wow.
So this
Yeah,
is
so after all,
so this is what you this is the this so I lay this I lay this on the step of Trump. I mean, he won't even know about it. He probably doesn't even have any idea about it. And if he did, he would turn it into a media circus.
Yeah.
So it's probably good that he doesn't know about it. But, and again, here's the thing where I guess it restores some kind of faith that since all this crap happened,
It's the payoff. This is the profit taking.
People from both sides have made meals for his wife, have come over and helped her clean the house, have the neighborhood in Escondido, where she lives, has embraced her. Not Republicans, not Democrats,
His neighbors.
not liberals, not conservatives. Just people sympathizing with someone who, whether you want to say he asked for it or he didn't ask for it, got something that he didn't deserve. And it's just a sad byproduct of this thing. And I just think it's a sad thing.
Billions of dollars here.
Are they going to strike oil? I know it's Pasadena. That's close to the tar pits, isn't it?
All I can say is the crew says we're getting close. Oh. Broke our drill.
Close to what? Close to giving
closer
you
than we were.
Close to giving you a headache?
It is noticeable.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Hey, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Oh, Michael, I'm glad you asked that question because
I am too.
Let
me the Mercedes.
No Mercedes. It's funny. I haven't had a Mercedes in a while, and it's kind of strange because usually I see 3 or 4 a year, but for whatever reason, I have not seen. I'll take a second to get this into the.
Into the computer.
Do that. Give me a second here, and we'll get it. But yeah, I have a car that I enjoy. The Audi. We've talked several times about the Audi.
Yeah.
And how much I enjoy when I get one from.
They've had a good year.
Yeah, to the top of the line. The Q8s, the coming up Q9s, all the way down to the A3 and the Q3, the SUVs and the sedans. They're impeccably engineered vehicles that just have a standard of beauty about them that you stand there and you look at them and you at times have to kind of sit back and say, geez, this is a this is not just a car. This is a work of art. You know, it's downloading into the machine right now, but it's well thought out. And so what Audi has done, and they've done this a few times now, is they've tried to come up with a car that allows you as a consumer to attain a vehicle that um,
There's
that
Vinnie in his Q3.
yes, attain a vehicle that has a price point where you can, if you're going to buy a Volkswagen or you're going to buy a similar car, add a few bucks to that and get into something like an Audi. You know, so instead of buying a $49,000 Volkswagen, you can buy a $54,000 or $55,000 Audi, which will probably hold its value much more than the Volkswagen, and gives you enough amenities, enough things in the car that say to you, look at what I'm driving here this week. And the Q3 that I'm driving this week is one of those rides. Is one of those vehicles. This is the 2026 Audi Q3 S line, which is the sporty top of the line
Very nice.
Audi. I'm struck by at first glance by the color.
Yeah.
It's just a stunning color, and you know it's one of those cars that you're looking at and you say, "Gee, well, you know, now where do I get one?" Because I think you're smart enough to know where you get one at an Audi dealer. But this is a bit different than everything out there. And Audi uses lighting. They use the color. They use their design studio to come up with a car that looks a lot more expensive than it is. My friend looked at this car yesterday, and we play a game every week. She sees the car and she tries to guess how much the car is. And she looked at this car and she immediately said,
85.
no, she said 70, 75, something in there. I think she said 75. And that shocked me. Because it really, I think that when somebody that doesn't know about cars looks at a car and says it costs that much more over what the car really costs, that you're doing nice, you're doing well. I mean, look at the interior on this thing. Now, something that I always look at, and I know this is weird, but I've been looking at cars for a long time. I look at the brake and the gas pedal. Look at how solid those things look. They look like they're out of a truck, not out of a car. When I look at the brake and the gas pedal and I see that kind of construction, I got to think that the rest of the car is pretty good too. It's for a small car, it's comfortable. It's got so much tech in it that it's almost mind-boggling. I mean, it's going to take me a week to figure out how everything works in this car, so that the day I have to give it back. The nav system is not just a nav system, but it's, you know, a Google Maps look at what you think. Here's another piece of innovation in this car. They've created a bar here that goes across the top of the steering column. It contains the wiper switch, contains the gear shift. That's me sitting in the car with the sunroof on a rainy day. But that piece of plastic that they put across the top of the steering column controls things in a different way. It gives you a better and a different feel to controlling the wipers, to controlling the gear shift, to controlling some of the things so that everything doesn't look like a stalk sitting outside of the steering column. That there's a difference between the different things that you have to use to make the car work. It's got a Sonos stereo system in it, which is among the best. This car sounds good. It also has the materials that they use in the car um, are top grade, but also environmentally conscious. Listen, people pay attention to this stuff now. And again, a car that has 255 horsepower, turbocharged engine, all-wheel drive, the Quattro system, and um, a luxury SUV that you're going to
How
like.
many cylinders?
This is a four-cylinder turbocharged engine. It goes 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds. The tech in this thing, like I say, is unbelievable. It is an automatic transmission, 7-speed, all-wheel drive, 5 seconds from 0 to 60, 255 horsepower. When you drop this thing into the mode, the sport mode, it takes off like a bat out of hell. And it's just every piece of this car says premium. And maybe the coolest thing, if you want, is the lights in here. You can, as you saw earlier in this thing, I set them to my team colors, the Mets, orange and blue.
Right.
But this car is stunning no matter how you set it. And in the dark, in the light, in the night or in the day, it is a looker. The taillights are OLED taillights. Now, I don't know why you need OLED taillights on your car, except that they tell me that you can see them better from a long distance at night.
Mm-hmm.
And Audi is one of those brands that have always been about safety. Front seats, unfortunately, don't have ventilation. And I thought that this car should have cooled as well as heated seats. And it doesn't seem to have massaging seats. Although with the tech stuff in it, Audi, they may be there. I just haven't found them yet.
Yeah.
So I'll spend the weekend looking to see if there's a massaging part to the seats.
Maybe by tomorrow at 11 o'clock, you'll have another discovery to lay on us.
We'll go into this a little further tomorrow at 11 and give you an opportunity to take a closer look at it on drive time right here where you are right now. Tell your friends to come and join us tomorrow morning. We'll also have a little further for you, some news from Lexus, which I know a lot of people, that's a very popular brand that a lot of people love and a lot of people have a deep affection for. So we have some news coming down from them. The latest on the Slate truck. If you are thinking about buying a Slate, you have some good news. It's actually going to be cheaper in California than anywhere else in the country.
See you tomorrow at 11 o'clock, Ben. Thank you for that report. That Audi looked great.
It's a beautiful car, Michael. I wish we had take you for a ride in it. We go hit Yakima this weekend.
And we have to tail of the pup. We got to get a hot dog.
Man, I need a hot dog.
A malted, the best malt. Who makes the best malted in your neighborhood?
Boy, in my neighborhood, the best malted is why am I I can see him sticking the malted in the thing. Dick's makes them malted.
Way to go, Dick's.
And they,
I salute you.
Yeah, they do a damn good malted, and you can taste the malt in it.
Yes, that's true. I always ask for extra malt because you can buy a malted and not taste the malt, and that's not right.
Right, and a malt is a distinctly different taste than a milkshake.
Yes,
a milkshake tastes like melted ice cream. A malt is a man's drink. It tastes like a man's drink.
Now, if you were home in the old neighborhood, where would you get the best malt?
The best malt there was a place called Myers under the L on Roosevelt Avenue, and they had a spectacular malt. Which reminds me, do we got a minute before we go?
Sure.
Or you? Let me see if I can find this real quick. I saw this and we were talking about it last week, and I saw it. I went looking for it, and if I did, it was amazing to me that I actually found this thing, and I think I downloaded it into my phone. I'm just going to look real quick because you're talking about the malted. Remember, I told you last week about a place called Burger Train that I grew up going to when I was a kid in Jackson Heights. It was on 37th Avenue, and you went to Burger Train, and you got yourself a
burger.
hamburger. You ordered the hamburger, and sure enough, it would show up, but it wouldn't just show up by a waitress carrying it down the aisle, the
Lionel would
counter.
deliver it.
It would show up. Okay, let's see if I can do this here quickly.
Aha,
It would
there
show
it
up
is.
on this.
On a nice train.
This is a shot. This is Burger Nest from 1950 something.
Yeah.
And you can see there right on the back a hamburger with some French fries, the drinks they had to bring to you because they didn't want you to spill them all over the place. Although I do see by looking that there's a drink on the back of this train. So
Looks like
that
a malted.
might be a malted.
Yep.
But that was the interior of a Burger Train on 37th Avenue back in the late 50s, early 60s.
Here comes the train. Here comes your burger, Ben.
Don't know how in the world they made sure that the right person got the right burger, but they did because the place was open for many years. So I saw that and I said, I got to show Michael that. And that's a good way to end our show because now I want a hot dog and a hamburger and a malt.
That's what I want to. See you, Ben. We'll see you Monday.
You get it there, I'll get it here, and we'll meet you back here on Monday if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise.
Done. I'll go to Pie and Burger.
Peace, love, and Manischewitz.
It's quite a wine. You'll enjoy it when the train gets here.
See you, Mikey. Thank you
Ben.
all for listening, too. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 for drive time. Bye-bye now.